and welcome to Decision Makers, the show where we dig into what it takes to run a town. Now, the last several episodes, we have been with the town councillors, and now I have someone from town staff. We are here with Nicole Cooper today, who is, and correct me if this is not the official title, Director of Recreation Services.
Nope, that's it.
Okay, great. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
The first thing we like to do is just sort of dig into who you are, your background, and how you came to be in the position you're in.
Okay, when I graduated high school, I started out with going for early childhood education. So I'm actually a certified childcare EC. I did that for about 4 years and just decided I kind of needed a little bit something different. I was really creative. I liked working stuff like that, but I still wanted to do stuff with kids. So I applied and became the rec director in Minnedosa. So I was that person for 3 years, and I did all of the same thing kind of I do here, summer camps, Canada Day, all the festivals, that kind of thing. And then, yeah, once the job was posted here, it was just kind of an opportunity to go a step above, a bigger town, bigger budget, more duties. So I took the leap over and came over here. And now I've been here, I think, since 2017.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. And throughout that, like, I took my municipal administration through U of M too.
Okay.
So I have my certificate in that, which kind of gave me a little bit of insight into like the town aspects of it. So if the girls up front ever need me to fill in, I can take a water bill or a bill payment and help them as best I can. Can't do all their job because they do so much, but I do know a little bit about that part too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're local to Neepawa? You're from Neepawa or from the area?
Yeah, I live just outside of Minnedosa, a couple miles.
Okay.
So yeah, I drive every day. I have 2 kids. They go to daycare in Brookdale, so I just kind of do a long loop around and then pick them up. So no, it's good. I pick my groceries up here and then head back home and then come back the next day. It works out fairly well. It's nice to detox on the way home, or, you know, reflect on your day rather than just take all your business home with you.
That's true.
Yeah, it's
and
nice.
It's a little harder to call you in if you're not, you know, down the street.
That's so
I
true.
know
Yeah,
something about that.
Easier to do stuff over the phone for sure, especially with like COVID now. Like Zoom and everything has made everything so accessible. It's very nice.
Yeah, well, exactly. As long as you have internet, you're pretty much connected.
You can talk to anybody. Yeah.
So what does the department actually responsible for within the town?
This is a good question, and I made some pointers just so that I don't
that's
forget,
great.
because I tend to
It's usually a lot of things that people don't realize.
Yeah. So one of the main things I'd probably say is the swimming pool, which is the most recognized thing out there. So that is probably my main, just for summertime basically. I'm in charge of all the pool staff, so we usually have around 12 to 15 summer students hired. Okay. So throughout the year, people don't see, I'm continually working on getting trainings here and making sure all the staff have their upgraded certifications and stuff. Yeah. Actually, I just recently found out yesterday that Red Cross is no longer offering any swim anymore after 75 years. So they're transitioning out this year, and everything will transfer over to Life Saving Society. So I'll have to make sure all of our 15 staff this year get their certifications transferred over, and all of our Red Cross swimming lessons will have to go to the swim program with them.
Is that a completely different system?
It is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like Red Cross is totally stepping back and kind of saying, we've done it for 75 years, we're done, time for something new.
Wow.
Yes, so I know all of Westman uses Red Cross for their swimming instructors and stuff, so it's definitely going to be a big change for sure.
And did the certifications transfer, or do they have to recertify?
They don't. They're making it easy for staff, so basically right now they just have to take a course, a recertification course, and then they're going to let them transfer, but after the year's done, they'll have to start right from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah, so it could be pricey or a lot of time commitment to get your training now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are people taking lessons going to see a big difference this year?
This year, no. We're continuing with Red Cross this year. It's good. Yeah, it's good till January 15th, 2023. So this year will be Red Cross, and we'll be working on transitioning our staff, and then next year will be all different programs, and it kind of, their levels are a little bit different, but it'll still be the same basics and
people
learning.
who are like partway through getting their, I mean, there are colors still, right?
No, they're numbers, but with the Life Saving Society, I think they go up to level 6, and then they go to swim skills, like swim to survive, swim to Thrive. Like they're just different.
So there'll be like an equivalent level of people
Yep.
who are partway through.
Yeah, so I'll
I've
just have
gone off
to-
on a tangent here,
Yeah.
so now I'm like fascinated by
I know
this.
it is interesting too, and I can just like see all the questions coming in from
Yeah.
parents too, because it is a change, and
Yeah.
Westman's been so Red Cross for so long that people won't really know what's up. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So beyond then the swimming pool, what else sort of does your apartment cover?
We do day camps in the summer, so that's basically all of July and August, and we usually have up to 15 kids is our max. The last couple of years we've been pretty much full every single day. COVID restrictions sometimes had to limit our numbers, but full program.
Right, yeah.
And they do things like go to Minnedosa and learn kayaking. They have days at the pool, learn to do disc golf and archery. The archery club is really good at kind of taking the students under their wing and showing them stuff. I also do lots of grants. So like all of the grant writing. So
Yeah.
we've gotten so much money for the pool and the multi-use trail park and the trails, upkeep of the trails, just little grants like that throughout the year.
And I think that's an important thing to think about, because I think a lot of people think the recreation services, all the money just gets poured in from the town.
Yeah.
But you actually have to source out a lot of places for what you're doing.
No, I wish I could just put it in my budget and then
Yeah.
spend whatever I like. But no, for most of our projects and stuff, I do have to apply for grants. But there's so many out there, like so many programs are available that you could apply for virtually anything. And most places are pretty good at giving you something. So no, that keeps me working and going and
No doubt.
helps
Yeah.
pay for summer students, and so that we're able to offer these
Right.
programs. Yeah.
Annually, what are the big projects that you do?
Like
Yeah.
event-wise, Canada Day is one of our big ones. So for the last several years, I've been in charge of doing that myself. So I know prior to my arrival in my position, I believe a board was kind
I
of
think the
formed.
Lions Club was
The Lions
involved.
Club
Yeah.
did, and they had a little bit of input, and then it kind of transferred over to the town. So I've just solely been the one planning that for a couple of years and doing that. So hopefully if COVID does stay away, I'd like to get back to that board just to pull some input from other people. You know, it's hard to know. I plan what I would like to see on Canada Day, but I don't know what other people want to see. So I did a poll and kind of seeing if people would be interested prior to COVID, and they said they would be. So I'm hoping that maybe this year will be the year.
We're in January right now, so
I hope so.
yeah.
But
it's hard. It's so hard to say right now.
Well, we'll do something, just doesn't matter, or we don't know what it'll look like at this point.
Exactly. It always depends on restrictions and who is available and who can come.
Exactly, and numbers but so Canada Day is a big one. We also do our annual Winter Wonderland Festival down at the Flats on Louis Riel Day, so Family Day. That's coming up right away next month on the 21st.
Yeah.
So that again too is based on restrictions right now. It looks like a no-go, but we're going to try and find something to work around it so we can at least offer, public skating or an open gym or a pancake breakfast, something for people to get out and spend that time with their families in a safe way.
Right.
Of
So
course.
it might not look like it has in the past with several different activities.
Yeah.
But we're hoping at least something will happen.
Yeah, I think
on
people
that
are
day.
ready for a little bit of normalcy, so I like to help plan something so that they can have something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now your role essentially then is in planning these activities, brainstorming these activities, sourcing out everything to make them run,
Yep.
sourcing input from the public. That is all your domain.
Yep.
That is a lot.
And honestly, it seems like a lot, but the hardest part out of it all is probably gathering the volunteers.
Yeah.
I don't know what the reason would be for that, actually. If people just aren't volunteering anymore or they're not interested.
I think it's a problem a lot of people have.
Yeah. So I know Dawn over at Settlement Services and Deborah have been like instrumental. Every time I have something on, they have so many people willing to volunteer. So they're usually my go-to. Like if I need a couple people here or there, they're so willing to accommodate and help out whenever they have. So they've been really good to work with. But yeah, like the planning and stuff, I love organizing events and planning things and making sure everything goes great. So kind of just falls into place.
Now, what is the relationship between recreational services and then sort of the economic development? Like I know you guys work together on a lot of stuff. Is there like an official relationship there? Is it just you kind of have to?
Kind of have to work together. No, Marilyn Crew and I have a really good working relationship, which kind of ties in a lot of things that people don't see. Marilyn and I work together on a lot of projects, so a lot of tourism stuff.
Right.
So I'm kind of creative, not to toot my own horn, but I worked a lot with her on the tourism signage around town. So all of the flags that you see on the posts going around town and the new entrance on Mountain and Main.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I designed those and help her.
Oh, great. Okay. So
She did all the legwork of like getting all the prices and how it was going to look, and then I just did all the designs and everything.
yeah.
So that, and then helping set up some of those tourism trainings that have been happening. So that's kind of been on me too, and just going back and forth with Marilyn. Like we do a lot of grants together because our positions kind of not overlap, but they coincide
Yeah.
very nicely together. So yeah, just working on projects. And
Because I know that your position and in some other towns would be called recreation and leisure services.
Yeah.
So it's basically people's lifestyle living, like what they do with their free time in town.
yep.
Which, I mean, I think people think rec, it's a lot of sports, but it's really everything people do.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with just recreation. People don't think of like creative arts or like even going for a walk as recreation, right?
Yeah.
They think of something totally different. So even lately I've been working with the Men's Shed, and we're doing
they're great.
Yes. Oh, I just learned how great they were the other week. Like, they're such a great organization to
We've
have.
got their stuff in the room right now, so
yeah.
we've been working here too.
So they're helping me develop a storybook trail. That's,
wonderful.
That's going to go around the flats. So I got a grant for that from the Assiniboine Parent North Child Care Coalition. They're closing down in April, so they had extra funds
really?
to
Okay.
distribute. So we got money to do that, and the Men's Shed is helping me build them, and hopefully we'll have a little trail up at the flats that people can walk around while, you know, their brothers are playing soccer, or
that is
they're just trying to
fantastic.
get out and get active. And
Yeah, that sounds like a project that if you were still looking for funds, the RHA has some funds available for stuff like that as well.
See,
So
there we go. See, a little bit of money everywhere. You just got to seek it out.
They have their healthy.
Healthy
activity-
Together now.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, through Paramount Health. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's a good program too. We've got quite a bit of funding from them in the past for some kids programs and equipment.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Now, what would you like to be planning for right now? Because I think planning for COVID is a very different process from planning for a non-COVID year.
Yep.
No less work. You still plan, it just doesn't happen.
You plan it 3 times. That's
Yeah.
the difference. Yeah, in a COVID-free world, I'd like to just go back to normal and be able to have our celebrations, have the Filipino Heritage Month, and
Right,
that
of course,
big,
that's another.
Yeah, like we were going to be part of that the year that COVID really hit and it was canceled, and it's just, you see all the work that people put into these events to have them just canceled and postponed. So I'd like to go back to seeing, like, I want to plan that and Canada Day and just be able to do our regular things again.
So it sounds like you are involved in a lot of partnerships with other local places. What do some of those look like?
Yeah, there's lots of organizations around town that kind of either I approach them looking for support or they approach me, and we kind of end up partnering, and it kind of snowballs into something, and then another group gets pulled in.
Yeah.
It's nice because then, you know, they take a piece of the pie, I take a piece of the pie, and then it's easier to get the work done. And it's so nice to have different opinions and thoughts and ways of doing things thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know one of the things people have really talked about since we lost the Lily Festival is getting a big summer festival going again.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of false starts. And there have been a lot of little
Yeah.
festivals pop up here and there, whether it's, you know, the Manawaka Festival that happens through
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence Home or Jam Fest through Arts Forward. Now it seems like something might be building in that area. I don't know if that's a recreation initiative, a tourism initiative, somewhere in between.
That one's more Maryland, actually.
Okay.
I was on maternity leave last year, and they kind of started that Riverbend Market.
Right.
And it exploded. The turnout was, I think, a lot more than they would have expected, especially during a COVID year. So the tourism committee is going ahead this year, and they're planning another Riverbend Market with additional rock in the Riverbend. So
Right.
it's, going to have a very festival type feel
Yeah.
to it. And I think it has like such potential to, proceed.
So
Great.
do you have like a vision for what that might grow into being?
Ideally, it would be nice if it could be our signature festival. The
Yeah.
only thing that I think we need is the volunteers and the committees to jump on board so that there could be a lot of moving parts and different people putting things on at different times and not just relying on the tourism committee to
Right,
continue
which is
it.
a limited number of people.
Yeah, I think there's probably only like 8 or 10 of them on the board, and you know, you do how many events a year, you kind of get tired and burnt out. So
Absolutely.
it'd be nice if you know, additional committees could jump in on that and help make it bigger and better.
And I guess that's where these partnerships kind of come in.
Yeah.
If everyone can do their piece of this.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit less off of other people when there's other things going on that they're
Yeah.
not responsible for.
So what are some of the big accomplishments, say, of the past couple of years as far as recreation goes?
Ooh, this is a good one. So our multi-use trail park was probably one of the biggest developments that recreation's seen in a couple years now. So I don't know if you've been out there since it's been built, but
I've been like once.
so the High Life Back 40 is what it's called, and there's hiking, biking, different kinds of trails. Like, it's just, honestly, it's so beautiful. It's 40 acres. There's trails for multiple things, and it's just a nice place to go, get out of town, still in the town limits though.
It's technically in town, but it's not in town.
It's not far. Like, you could ride your bike, you can walk. It's connected to the Trans-Canada Trail, as it's now called again.
Yeah.
It goes around the perimeter and connects back in, so you can easily walk to and from town, not on the roads, in a safe trail. And yeah, like, we've seen so many visitors and even locals just using it on the daily. I'd go out there, I think it was in September, and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I thought, it's a Monday, who's going to be out here? And there was so many people walking and biking. Like, it's so nice to see the uptake and how many people have actually jumped on board and are using it daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic, because like I said, I've been out there once, well, maybe a couple of times. I've been out there just because I've been in the area.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It'll take a little bit longer to get some trees and some grass growing, because it was a giant clay pit that
I was going to say it was waste space before this.
It was started because of the lagoon, so it'll take a while to make it beautiful and all treed and everything, but it has so much potential for more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for residents and for tourism as well.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep. And another one that we'll be working on, we just announced in the last fall, the additional upgrades going to Riverbend.
Yes.
So that's a big
exciting.
one. Yeah. I think everyone's most excited for the water slide. I know that's one of my top ones. Everyone's always said, but the one that actually stands out to me the most, I think, is the relocation of the parking lot.
Me too. And I've told you this before.
This is terrible. You know,
I unashamedly say I'm so excited for this.
You know, you're old and when you get excited about a parking lot. But no, I think it's just going to be so much better for our users. And like on maternity leave this year, I was down at the pool with my kids quite a bit during the summer. And until I was sitting there at the playground with my kids or coming out of the pool, you don't really realize how unsafe that parking lot dividing the amenities is.
Always has been.
And it is terrible. So yeah, coming back and learning that we're going to be doing that is just amazing. It'll just increase so much safety for our users and just a better flow to the area.
But it required this kind of large scale redevelopment of the area because there was nowhere else for it to go.
No.
Until we really redeveloped everything.
Yeah.
So.
And I know one of the major concerns was that we were going to lose a bit of green space on the east side of the pool there. Mm-hmm. But when you think about it, all of that space where the parking lot is right now will be remediated back to green space.
Exactly.
So it's not that we're losing it, we're just shifting it over. Yeah. So yeah, I think once it's done and everything, it'll be a really good upgrade.
That is a long-term
that'll actually be done, like the parking lot and the water slide should be done by the end of this year.
But there's some other ideas going forward for the rest of the area.
I'll call that phase 1, and then phase 2 would include actually a whole brand new swimming pool building, water play features, and new paths and lighting and stuff like that down there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of space to work with there. It's a really nice space down there.
I'd say it's one of our most used parks, and
it's convenient.
Yes.
So it's
such a great location and right by the campground, and I think investing a little bit of money into it and the upgrades are just going to make it phenomenal.
Although much like our other park that out at Rotary Park, it was damaged by flooding, but when you have a river, that's just in Manitoba, that's just what happens.
Well, we didn't hope it happened to that extreme, but
yeah, that was a little extreme. But
now it's just a big sand pit. But that will be coming back to sooner than later,
We've talked
hopefully.
about that one, so we know that one is
I don't know
coming.
too much about that one. All I know is those ducks really want their pond back.
Yeah.
But
well, that one's very much an infrastructure project more than a rec project at this point.
Yeah,
Once
for
they actually
sure.
get like roads back, that might be different.
Yeah,
but
they sit in all the boarding meetings for that for the last year and stuff, and that's just over my head.
yeah, it's I've talked to several people about it just
Yep.
to see, you know, status. How are we doing? When's it coming back? And it's all about building bridges, building roads, building the berm.
Yeah,
building
and
the
all the
stuff.
permits and everything that
Yeah,
come with
it's
it.
all red tape right now.
Yeah, that's a
It's-
lot of things that people probably don't see, is because everyone's just like, well, when are you getting it back? When is this? When is this? But you don't see the whole list of things that you have to check off before you can actually move forward with a project.
Environmental studies.
Oh, yeah.
and, yeah.
The
You can't just
fishery-
bring a bulldozer in and
yeah,
fix
do it
it.
and
This
do
is-
what you want.
Bring
Apparently,
a bulldozer and a hose. That's how you make a pool, right? That's
that would cost us a lot of money if we had to fill that park lake with a hose. That's not in the budget range.
no, okay. That's okay. That's why I'm not doing this. This is not my area.
Leave it to Denis. Yeah.
So now, so that's another one. And I think there's been the tennis courts have gone in as well.
Oh yeah. See, if I don't,
you've been
if I
founding.
don't
This
write
is-
this
yeah.
down, it slips my mind. So yeah, last fall we actually broke ground and got most of the base completed for
Yeah.
the tennis courts, or the tennis/pickleball courts
Right.
at Hillcrest.
Yeah.
So yeah, the pad is there, and then as soon as the ground thaws and it's warm enough, the asphalt will go on, the coating will go on, the fence
Yeah.
will go up, and it will be done.
Which is, I mean, that's just, it's going to go like that once it's.
Yeah. And I know it's one of the things that the community has been asking for years. When we did that regional rec master
Yeah.
plan, I think it was number 3 on the recreation.
Really?
Yeah, like it was really wanted in the community, that and basketball courts.
I was going to ask about that one next.
Yeah.
If that's sort of on the,
So
on the
that
horizon.
is on our radar. We do have plans for a location. It's just kind of depends on, one thing has to happen for it to happen.
Right. Oh, okay.
So we're hopefully by the summer, then we will have a couple courts opened up, but
Okay.
it's just
Yeah.
a work in progress.
Yeah, there's just things going on in the
Yeah.
background that
Yeah.
we're waiting for right now.
And that's the hardest part too. People are always asking like, well, when are you doing this? When are you doing that? And you can't always tell them the answer because it depends on another project or something
Right.
first, right? But we are working on getting all of their wish list requirements in, so.
One thing that has been talked about, and this is not an immediate thing, this is a very long term. Has there been any discussion about development of a rec center, like a fully functional?
In my time here, I have not
Yeah,
actually
okay.
heard that.
Okay.
So it hasn't actually been on like my radar. I
Yeah.
know like everybody is so thankful that we have a facility like the Yellowhead
Yeah.
right now. But I know like everybody has asked for a swimming pool, like an indoor swimming pool.
That's a
It's not feasible for a
No.
town this size.
it would have to be quite a bit bigger, I think,
yeah.
to sustain that.
In our rec master plan, they actually did a lot of digging into communities the same size as ours with the same catchment area.
Yeah.
And those communities are running at almost over like 100,000 deficit every year just to run the pool. There's just not enough people to public swim to pay for a facility.
Yeah.
So
But one of the things we have a problem with the Yellowhead, I don't know if this falls under you at all, is just with ice time, because we only have one sheet of ice.
yeah,
So,
I know that's a struggle, and that's one of the things that kind of was brought to our attention when people were saying there was no time for public skating.
Mm-hmm.
It was all for hockey and like the figure skating clubs and everything.
yeah.
So the last couple of years, we've actually worked out an agreement with the Yellowhead that they offer it twice a week for free. So I think that's on Sundays and Mondays now.
I think
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So at least there's a couple hours there that anybody from the community can go, they can skate, and they can enjoy their time, which is nice. But yeah.
But it is tight, and I think it's probably going to get tighter. So
Yeah, and that's the thing with the community. It's just growing and growing, and then the more kids will be playing, and you'll need more ice time. So I don't know what the solution to that would be, but
it's down the road.
yeah.
Have you noticed an increase in demands on your department as the size of the town grows?
Yeah, and there's kind of been a shift too. A lot of people were really into like the hockey aspects and stuff, but I've noticed too with the new population coming in, they're interested in a lot of different things. Very family oriented, very something that inclusive that the whole family can participate in versus those one things that one kid plays and everybody sits and watches.
Right.
So yeah, that's been good. We've had a couple basketball programs that have really thrived, and the numbers of kids that we put through there were astonishing, and how many people are wanting to take something other than hockey, and yeah, it's been really good.
Well, I mean, it's interesting to think about the different possibilities that might be out there that maybe we would have asked for and didn't know about. So, you know.
And that's the thing too, like if anybody ever has an idea for a program, or you think like we need something that other communities have and we just don't have yet, like I welcome those ideas, because like I said, I go to conferences and I work with other regions, but it's nice to hear what our region wants, right?
Yeah.
What works for Brandon and Portage might not work for Neepawa. Maybe we're interested in different things. So it's
sometimes
nice.
we just try out stuff, because we had the disc golf.
Yep.
We have the croquet curl now going on.
Yep.
Things like that didn't really exist, you know,
actually
10 years ago.
Yeah, I have a survey on our Facebook page right now for our disc golf, so I welcome anybody who wants to give input about that. I know it's kind of been left on the sidelines, and now that the flood happened down there, it's now is the time to kind of rework the course. So I have a survey out there, and I posted it yesterday, and we've actually had 70 people participate already. And you know what I didn't realize? How many people in this town play disc golf. Yeah. Like I've been down there with day camps and stuff, and maybe it's because it's during the day. I don't see very many people, but we have like a club, and there's a lot of avid players in our area.
I actually did not realize. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I did not realize that either.
And the comments that were coming in about our course were just wonderful, like how beautiful it is and how easy to follow. And so my plan for this year is to just like kind of update it a little bit. The signage is kind of outdated, and then the signs are also kind of in the way for players and cause some obstructions, I guess.
Some small adjustments.
Some tweaks are needed. So it's good to get the town's input on that, because, you know, I don't play disc golf all the time, but it's nice to hear people that play all the time, their opinions. So yeah, I'm more than welcome. Anybody who has suggestions or ideas or program ideas or comments, like just to give me a call, send me an email.
Yeah. And your information is on the website, and I think probably also through Facebook they can probably reach you anytime you put something out there.
Yep.
Because I know that the town and your department in particular have been really good about getting information out to the community about what's going on.
Yeah, and that's one thing we've been working on. So most recently with our newsletters, Jody in the office and I work on those together that go out with the bills. And we've been just working on like 4 pages of information, like a how-to or a what you need to know right now. And we've had a lot of positive feedback, and stuff that you don't think about on a daily basis, or you just don't know until you open up that paper and you read it. So it's been a really good way to get some information out, or just those helpful reminders. Yeah.
So is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to make sure that people know about what you do and about the department?
I don't know. I think you covered it all, I guess. The one thing I did have here, I sit on lots of committees as well in my job.
Right, of course you would.
So there's one, Neepawa Eats Healthy, geared towards making sure that there's healthy eaters in town, and that people are knowing like how to eat, properly shop. I also sit on the Westman Physical Literacy Committee.
Okay.
So that's kind of
that existed.
It's kind of regional, and it's just to make sure that our children are prepared and not only physically active but physically literate, which a lot of people don't know the difference, but it's just making sure that kids know how to run, they know how to hop, they know how to skip, so that they know how to do multi-sport for life.
Oh, okay.
And it just creates a little bit more flexibility with what they're able to do.
So are there programs that are run through that?
Yeah, we do training and programs too, mostly for adults and people that work with children, so that you can take all of the skills that we teach you back to your daycare or your kindergarten room or anything, and then you can
like fundamental movement skills.
Yes,
basically.
that's exactly what it is. Look at you, Rain. That's great.
I'm trying to think of what I needed as a 4-year-old, as a child. That's fundamental coordination of movement.
Yes, exactly. And the idea is, like, if you do one sport for life, those are gonna be your skills, and you won't be able to transfer over into another sport. But if you learn these fundamental movement skills at an early age, you can go from hockey to dance to football. You know how to do all of the things to play those things.
That sounds like a great initiative.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. And then lastly, one I forgot too, was the Chamber Fair is a major thing.
Yeah, It's kind of
See?
off my radar because we haven't
for 2
been able
years
to
it's
do
been
it.
canceled.
Yeah.
So no, I've been really involved in the Chamber Fair for the last several years. I do all their publications and their advertisements and their
Okay.
posters, as well as help with the planning and stuff. So I think Marilyn's got me chairing the committee this year, so
Yeah.
that'll be my first year, so we'll see how it goes.
I'm excited to see that come
Yeah,
back.
me
So
too.
Fingers crossed.
That's a really big one for Neepawa, and a big weekend with the garage sales and all the things that
there's
happen.
a ton of stuff that happens. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a town fair. It's an old school
It is.
town fair.
Yeah, and not many towns like that have it anymore. So it's kind
No.
of something that Neepawa has that's special. And that's
Yeah.
another one like that relies on volunteers and such a great volunteer base with the chamber there, like that it's been able to go off without a hitch for the last several years
Yeah.
pre-COVID. But
Right. Well, COVID's a big hitch. But,
yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. But
well, that is great. That is something to look forward to then. So we'll have to sort of keep in touch with your office, see what's happening.
yep.
And fingers crossed that we see a lot of activity going on this year.
Yeah, me too. I hope everything goes back to normal.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Whatever
I
normal
hope we get
is.
to do stuff.
We'll take what we can get at this point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming and joining me here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And thank you all for watching. We will see you guys next time on The Decision Makers.